Hello everyone, I am Devarshi Modal and today we are going to look upon a simple MERN application as you can see here that is deployed using Serverless Framework and GitHub Action in AWS. Let's get started. Now we have came into our VS Code and you can see there are a couple files and folder. So what this front end does, like all the React stuff are put inside into this folder and all the rest part like Node and Mongo, as you can see here, it is inside outside this folder front end. So what we can do here, just right click and create a new file called serverless.yaml file, which we will look forward. And like I'm talking a bit about serverless framework, so just go in the Chrome and type serverless.com. You can find the serverless framework homepage. So this serverless framework is not a new technology, it's just basically you can see you can imagine like a cloud formation or a Terraform kind of thing. So but it focus majorly on serverless services. With this serverless framework you can define your resources that you want to create in a cloud. So let's jump into our serverless.yaml file. I will copy the resources and paste here. I will explain step by step what it does basically. So first line, it's a service. You have to give a service name here. So in my case this is song hyphen lyric, and this in this block of code, so it basically a provider, like which cloud provider you want to deploy your resources. Like in my case it is AWS, which runtime basically then I am using Node, that's why I just put this Node 12.x. Stage you have to give a stage like development or prod. The region you are basically where you have to deploy your resources, like in my case it is South 1 or Mumbai, and this lambda hashing version you have to give this thing. So talking to this next block of code, this package thing, so it's basically a package, which package you have to deploy it in the serverless services, for example lambda in my case. So here you can see like I have exclude some of the dependencies. So it basically kind of globe like syntax. So you can check out more on this serverless.com regarding this package managing thing. So this pattern basically, if I put in a 16 number of line, so here is package.json. So I just put here I expect exclamatory mark. So what does it mean? That it just remove, like it just ignore that file while deploying. Talking to the next set of code block, so we can skip for this now. Let's move to this function block. Function means we are deploying the resources in lambda services. So what does this block do basically? So here you can see the handler. Before the handler, here you can see this song is basically a logical name of your function. So as in my case this song, and then after song it's a handler block. So handler basically is a like point out a function name, like which function you have to deploy it, the function name. Like this song is my directory in the file name, and this handler is my function name. So you can see, like if I navigate to this song.js, you can see here my function name is .handler. So like that you can provide here basically the name of the function. Like this song you can see is a logical name. This is the main name of the lambda function, like song underscore function. So layer is basically a kind of thing like when you are deploying the resources. Let's say I am using Mongoose in my case. You can see like if I go back in the schema.model, so here you can see that this Mongo is a package, external package. So for that, this layer, what it does, so it packages this node module. Like one thing is to clear, like when you are deploying these services in a lambda, so we have to minimum, like the code size should be minimum. So if we put these node modules, so the code size will be very big, because like for me now it's not only Mongoose, but imagine like there are tons of external services. For that the code size will get increased. So for that we are there is a feature in lambda, it's called layer. So what does layer do? So it basically like all the external dependency like node modules kind of thing, so we can exclude that in our lambda code function, and we can put into the layers, and we can attach this layer into our this song function. So here you can see a exclamatory sub. So it's basically a cloud formation interesting function. So it substitute the value, like what value it substitute, like you can see like cell provider region or AWS my account ID. So it's basically the ARN kind of structure. So it substitute the value when we deploy this thing in this serverless like with the help of serverless framework. So it just substitute these values, and there it's called an event. So event, you can imagine like what, like the triggers basically for our lambda functions, like what events can our lambda function be triggered so that we can uh, execute the code and we can integrate in that thing in our front end. So there are lots of events. We can imagine like SNS, simple notification service, or imagine a step function, you can imagine. So in our case, our event is a REST, because we are using REST API to connect our backend or our lambda with frontend. So we are using HTTP, means you can imagine like API gateway. So here the structure, like the path is basically the endpoint where to get, like for my case, like if I want to add a song, so here this is my part. The method basically we have to define, because it's a API gateway, so we have to define a method basically. This is a post method and chorus is true. Our next line is a package thing. So here this package and what this package do basically. So here in this package, like line 44, so this is a function level packaging system. Like serverless framework is also offered a function level packaging system, and this is a global, basically this is a global package managing system. So here I am just excluding lyrics.js. So lyrics is another function which we'll cover in our next part. So lyrics is a another file, so it contains some code to execute. So here I want, like in this function, like song underscore function, I don't want my lyrics to be put inside this function. So that's why I exclude this lyrics.js file in the function level kind of thing. And talking regarding this another function, this is a logical name lyric, and my function name is lyric underscore function. And so here is basically the same thing. We are going just a couple of REST API changing as the function needed basically. So here a couple of events are there. So it's like add likes or add lyrics. See, these are all like API REST API. Like after when you deploy this thing in our serverless with the help of serverless framework in AWS, these all, like there are a total of how many? There are a total of 6 endpoints that should be created after successful deploy. So yeah, there is same thing, like in this lyric underscore function, we don't want song.js to be put inside, so that the code should be minimum, the lambda functions code. We can do is to, like I just open my terminal here, and now we can deploy all the resources we have defined here in the serverless.yaml, and it will deploy all those things into the cloud. That's in my case it is AWS. So make sure like you have installed the serverless package globally. So like how to install, you can check out their homepage serverless.com, and like from there you can know how to install serverless framework. So now just I hit the command. So now I am in the API Gateway console, and here is the newly created song lyric API. So if we move inside that, so you can see there are the endpoints, total 6 endpoints. So just I can invoke any of the endpoints. So let's test this thing, the slash thing. So it basically give all the songs that are in the MongoDB. So similarly you can test all this thing. So I will directly test from the React. Hit back to the stages from the sidebar and choose the development, and you can find here the your endpoint, the API gateway endpoint. So just copy that, and we have to for the front end to work with the API gateway, so we have to replace it is my previous build API gateway endpoint, so it just replace that thing to the new one. So we configure our front end. So now what you can do, just move to the front end part, and we can start our React application, and it will go. So yeah, now you can see that our song list API has been like this created, and it fetches all the items from the MongoDB through API gateway and with Lambda. So now we can add a song also. So just play around all those stuff. So I will add a song, Old Charge, from the Maverick. So yeah, it's created. So what we can do also, we can just delete the thing also. So now if we move back to this Old Charge song, we can add lyrics particular to that song. So let's add a lyric, will be anything related to that old song. old chart sum. So I added, and all you can see like it is all working absolutely fine. So we can also delete that old chart also. Let's relist the apply this. Yeah, so now as you see like our front end, a simple front end application with React, it's working absolutely fine. So now what we do, like we have to deploy our React application in S3 bucket. For that we have to I just have to uncomment all these lines, all this block of code in below also. So what it does, I just explain. uh, so first let's use this block of code, explain the block of code. Let's use, I am including our external package called serverless string. So what it does, this plugin does basically, it allows our build folder or in our React application, when you build with the command yarn build, so it basically put that folder or put the thing into the build, like inside the build folder into S3 bucket. So for that we have to use a external file called serverless S3 sync below this code. So it basically create a bucket, and we are giving a public read policy. So for to host the React application in an S3, in AWS S3 bucket, we have to give it a publicly accessible, so that you guys can have it. So for that we have to give a public access. So talking to these resources, so resources is basically, you can see a cloud formation thing to create kind of structure. So this resources block is basically this what are the resources we have to create, like extra resources we have to create with the help of serverless framework. For that we have to give this resources thing. And then after in 65 line S3 bucket. S3 bucket is, as I said, is a logical name of a S3 bucket. So this is type of S3. Properties are like, you can see that I have given the public read access with the help of access control thing. And website configuration, like in our build folder, when use with the build thing, so it created also a index.html included build folder. That one I just pointed out. So this is a website configuration, and if you, and also errors kind of thing. So if any page not found, something like that, it redirect to that error.html if we configure. So there is a bucket name. With the help of this property bucket name, we can set up a bucket name. So there, in my case, is MERN -serverless -bucket. So yeah, so there, this from 73 line, this is a bucket policy basically. What are the allow, basically I have to give the public allow read to the bucket. So here I am using again the S3 bucket policy type. Properties is something, it's different from the previous the above one. It's basically the bucket which are targeting. Basically I'm targeting this bucket. So for targeting, I am using ref interest function from cloud formation, and this S3 bucket, the logic name of this S3 bucket. The policy document, what this document state, that it's basically action, which the action I want to publicly available. It's a S3 get object. Okay, and then effect is allow, and resources basically the ARN of that bucket. And the principal is n from anywhere. Yeah, so this is a bucket policy. And now what we can do, just hit this, because I have not have a front-end build folder inside the front-end directory, so I create a build thing. So just hit a command yarn build. So now you can see our build is successfully done. So what you can do is to just, because I have to get back to the front-end directory, because my serverless.yaml file is in my root directory. So just hit the command SLS deploy. So yeah, now you can see our deployment successfully done with the help of SLS deploy, and you go head back to our console S3. So as you can see here, my MERN serverless bucket has been created. So inside that, just go in the properties section, you will find a URL for your application. From that link, just click that link, you will find it's been created successfully. And what you can do, just you can add or all the stuff. Just I prefer delete, so I delete. You can see, as you can see, like the delete has been okay. And now just all the setup till now, it's going good. Like we have our backend in our API gateway with Lambda, then our in our serverless in our S3 bucket we have our React application, all going good. The one thing I have to appear now, that now we are going to use our service called GitHub Action. So what this basically does, so every time you think that you change a code in our S3 in our React application or something like that, you have to build your folder. You have to create a build for that update change. So you have to type yarn build command again to create the build. or let's say you have to then again for that you have to deploy the command with the help of SLS deploy to cloud. So all the stuff you have to do regular every time if you update any changes in that thing. So for that, to get rid of this, we have a service called GitHub Action. So it basically automation kind of thing, automation CI integration kind of thing. So every time you push, so what we with the help of that command like GitHub Action, if you head back to the Chrome and say GitHub Action. So what this service does, it's from Microsoft offering the service. It basically automate your workflow basically. So every time, so you don't have to always write the yarn build or SLS deploy to deploy in AWS. So what you can do is, so you just focus on your code and just push that thing only on your GitHub. Okay, so from that GitHub, it will take, like GitHub Action will run a automation, a kind of thing, a script which we defined, which we are looking after some time. So for the GitHub Action to work, so we have to create a directory called .github into our root directory. So, and inside that we have to create another directory called workflows. So this workflow basically .github action will consider all the script should be written in YAML template. So for that we have to create a file inside that workflows directory. So it can be anything. So I just type deploy.yml. For that we have to connect a GitHub repository. We have to configure. So I just already configured my GitHub repository. You can check if I type the command. Yeah, this is my GitHub repository. So I have just connected. So in that, what we are gonna do, so now the first line of it here is the MERN serverless, the name of the script you want to cover. So in my case, MERN-serverless, and then there is this block of line of code. It means that whenever I push the code in my master branch of this repo, of this GitHub repo, so the workflow will be triggered. So that thing. So here I used push. So you can also called here pull. So whenever it pull from this branch, from this repo, so it will trigger the workflow. So this is the triggeration of the workflow. Second, what this workflow do? So all that configured here. So jobs can be parallelly in my example, it has a single job like build. So what are the thing? And you can do the job can be run in parallelly also. So in the build there is a text called runs-on. So it basically identify which operating system you have to run your like the script. So in my case it's a Ubuntu Linux, and then the default in my case it's /frontend, means the workflow, the job will automatically trigger when the job will trigger, so it will automatically go inside that .frontend. So it is the default path basically. Then it's a steps. So all the configuration basically what we want to do after the jobs has run, all those things are under this step. So it uses basically, so they are in 9.15. So it syntax called uses. So it basically check out like what my node version, all those stuff, like what to be installed when the jobs would run, okay, simultaneously. So it installed like node.js on this job, on this Ubuntu operating system. So it takes, and also like action has some input, so I can give like this type of with parameter. We can specify the input, like in my case it's a node version input like 12. Then again we have a system called name. We have a line 20. Let's name. The name means basically something what we are displaying, basically what script is running. To identify for us, we can specify our name, so that we are assured that if this thing install serverless framework is displaying, it means that it running this command yarn global add serverless globally basically. So for the serverless framework to work in this operating system Ubuntu, so we have to install the serverless and serverless S3 sync. And then again the similar command installing all dependencies from for the React application with the help of yarn install. And then we are building the site basically to create a build folder in that .frontend. So for that we are using yarn-build. Then in the last couple of in the last code block, so it is basically where to deploy. So I deploy it to AWS. I just put that name to identify what basically what command is running now. So just deploy to AWS means it deployed this line of command. So it basically because my SLS directory is the root in the root folder, as you can see here. So I just cd dot dot, I just move back one step from the dot front end folder, and then now I am in my root directory. I just similarly I just SLS deploy to deploy all the stuff in the AWS. So for that we just connect environmental variables where to get all the stuff. So we can head back to our console. We can see if you move back to IAM, here you can see we can configure, we can get the access keys from that IAM console. So if I move back to IAM console, it is loaded, and if I move back to dashboard, so you can see you can manage your access key from here. Even you can manage it from here also, my security credential. So yeah, you can get your access key and secret key from there. So yeah, this is and from there you have to just configure on your GitHub, like on your GitHub you just configure. This is my basically the GitHub thing. So where you have to configure this is my GitHub repo where I could, so it is earlier push. So in the setting you can go here, and in the secrets you can find I have two secrets, like access keys and secret key. From that you can configure all the stuff. Terminal you can add this couple of thing. So I just add all those stuff, and then I commit the thing, the updated changes. So let's say update a workflow. I just commit, and I have a message update workflow, and then the final step is just push the thing in the master branch. You can force that thing, because I just changed something, because I have already my repo. Oh, sorry. Here here you just push the command and it automatically trigger the workflow. If you check in the GitHub, in the action tab, this is the action tab where you can find your workflows running. So you can see this is the update workflow, and here you can see my commit message also. This is my commit ID, and inside that the job is running. It takes some time, so it installing serverless framework. So now you can see that my workflow is completed and it is succeed at building. So it's complete the job. So now what you can do, we can move back to our server S3 bucket, and we can see that code has been updated. And good thing is that whenever we just type any changes, so let's say I just type song list, let's say I just rename the name song list from available song list. So in my source, if I move back to my React thing, song list, excuse me. So here you can see like I have my song list, the heading. So it can be like, you can say what are the available song, rename the name. Just you can similarly you can test all the thing you want. It's up to you. So I just do the same thing, just push the code. I don't require F because it already been updated. So yeah, so it's fine. So now you can see in the action in the repo. So there you can see this is my workflow message, and the workflow has been triggered already because I pushed that thing in the master branch. So after some time, this, if I hit the reload, it will not change yet. So after some time, this song list automatically renamed to available song list. You can see that there are total 6 endpoints, and all the React code is pushed to the S3 bucket. So it is complete. So now if I refresh this page, you can see the song list is converted to available song list. This is the automation kind of thing. So change the thing with the similarly, like I just changed my front end. You can similarly change the lambda func code also, and just push the thing in the GitHub repo. So all will be triggered automatically. You don't have to always run yarn build or SLS deploy, all those stuff command. So GitHub action will take care of all those things. So the final step is you can also with the help of this only one command, just only one command, SLS deploy. Now if you change this deploy one word, if you change this to SLS remove, So it will remove all the infrastructure, all the resources you have defined with the SLS in the serverless HTML file. It will delete, means it will delete my this bucket also, this code, all the stuff. So let's try that. So git add the commit that changes with a new commit message and just push in the master branch. So now it is time I am remove all my defined resources with the help of SLS remove command. So now you can see in this deploy to AWS, in this command with the help of SLS remove, so it removed all the buckets, all the resources you defined in AWS. So if I move back to this bucket and if I hit a reload, it will get me an error. So that's it, that you can see for bucket not found. So thank you guys for watching the video. We'll get back with another video.